How to get over someone. Have you ever found yourself in love only to be heartbroken? Perhaps you thought that you would be together forever with that person, and then something happened. They left. Maybe they did it in a nice way. They sat down, spoke with you, told you their feelings, that they thought it wouldn't work out, that they ultimately needed to move forward and be intentional. But probably they did it in an immature way. There was fighting or yelling, or maybe no communication, and they just left, or a lack of communication. Maybe they ghosted, maybe they cheated. Maybe you realized after so much abuse, you needed to leave them. But for whatever reason, you found yourself to be single against your wishes. You preferred to stay in the relationship, but the relationship didn't work out. And so now you find yourself in a tough position. You see, many people still have feelings for their ex. They still feel love for their ex. In fact, most of us do. So if you find yourself feeling like you still think about them, you still wish that you were with them, you still miss them, you still love them, you're still bonded to them, you're not alone and you're not broken. In fact, the fact that you have those feelings is an indication that you are healthy. That is normal. That is exactly the way we are designed. Could you imagine living in a world where people could easily just switch off their love for someone that's important to them? Would you want to live in a world like that with total impermanence in people's feelings and in their relationships? You're given a subconscious mind, which holds a perception of the self. Your subconscious mind holds the perception of who you are. So a part of your perception of yourself is all of your values. The self is really made up intellectually or subconsciously of the values. What do you love in this life? Who are the people you love? What are the objects you love? What are the concepts you love? Those principles, those things are your values. So when you loved this person, it became of the highest value to you. In fact, they became more important to you than any other human on earth. And when they became important to you on that level, they actually became a part of you psychologically. Again, when you elevated them as the highest value to you, this person is the most important person in the world to me, then it stained them in the subconscious mind as being a part of you. So that's why you feel like you're missing an arm when you're not with that person anymore. That's why you feel like you're incomplete when you're not with that person anymore. But is that actually true that you are incomplete? And is it true that they're stained or tattooed in a way that you'll never be able to feel good again? Some people deal with the pain by saying, I'll never love again, or I'm done with dating or relationships. I'm never going to get married again. I've been hurt too much. I'll never do it again with another man, another woman. I'm never, ever getting in another relationship, making myself vulnerable, putting my heart on the line. But really, that's just the definition of being traumatized, isn't it? Trauma is anything that is distressing that we allow to change us in a way that's undesirable. So when it changes you for the worse, then you're traumatized. So if you say, I will forever remain changed for the worse, then you are actually making a covenant, an agreement. You are making a decision to stay in the traumatized state. We understand you were hurt. We've been there. But to go to the extreme of saying, now I won't give my love to any person is making a decision to remain in the traumatized state. And by the way, that doesn't work. Your thought was subconsciously that that would protect you. But it's the same unhealed thinking that keeps getting us into trouble. Let me go to the extreme. Well, now you've gone into extreme deprivation. And this extreme deprivation that you put yourself in, I'm not going to trust anyone. I'm not going to be with anyone. I'm not going to give anyone the opportunity, makes you feel isolated, which makes you feel lonely, which makes you feel desperate, which means the first person to come along and break through those barriers is going to seem like a miracle to you, a breath of fresh air, a drop of water on your tongue in the desert. And what type of person do you think it would be that would come and break through those barriers? It's not going to be a nice, healthy person because a nice, healthy person will say, that person seems guarded. That person seems like they don't want a relationship right now. That person is giving off the energy like they need to heal. So I'm going to let them do that. So who is it going to be that's going to break through your barriers of trauma? Who do you think is going to be? You know what the answer is. It's going to be a narcissist or an unhealed empath, someone who doesn't respect boundaries. It's going to be some type of psychopathic, broken manipulator. And they're going to break through your boundaries because they don't respect that you need the time to heal. And so all you did was put yourself in the position to repeat the cycle. And you go, how do I keep ending up with these people? I'm telling you, you have to stop jumping to the extreme of I never trust anyone. I never will do this again. I never, never, never. Stop with the nevers. After a breakup, we need to immediately take out our standards list. Like a resume that needs to be updated, right? Like when you lose a job, you take out your resume, right? Pull it up on your Word document, and you go, okay, let's see here. I got my resume. Time to spruce this up a little bit, update it, bring it up to the times. I've been out of the market for a while, right? This is what you need to do with your standards. You need to have them written down literally on a piece of paper or in a Word document file or on your notes in your phone. You need to revamp your standards. That's what you need to do when you get out of a relationship immediately. Not, oh, I need time to heal. This is healing. Healing is growth. It's a movement forward. That's healing. Not, I'm going to stay like this so I can heal. That's not healing. That's not healing. So we fooled ourselves with the whole I need the time to heal. What you need to do is pull out your standards and revamp your lists. Let's see here. I said this was important to me. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see how they didn't. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me add in this. Now that I've been through this situation, let me revamp these standards a little bit. Good. Now that you have your standards, you lead with your standards. You lead with your standards. So you don't have to say, I'm never going into another relationship because then you're not prepared when someone comes along. What you say is, I have a very clear list of standards that a person is going to have to get through so that I can vet them properly. Does that make sense? So now when that narcissist comes along, they hit a wall. And the wall is your standards. It's a special filter, and it's a narcissist resistant filter. That's what your standards are. So that instead of falling in love with this person who just keeps on showing all this interest in you, you're actually handling it from a place of personal power and intellect. So you go, okay, let me go down my list of standards and vet this person without putting my feelings into it, without falling in love with the person. Does that make sense? And then we have a better chance of filtering out these narcissistic, psychopathic, abusive, unhealed people, right? Because when they hit a lot of boundaries, which is what these are, then they go, I don't want to stick around for this. This is too hard. I wanted someone that I could manipulate someone who was broken. And this person's not acting broken. They just got out of a relationship, but now they're hitting me with all of these questions and all of these boundaries. No, not right now. We don't go out yet. I don't touch yet. We don't kiss yet. We do this. This is too, they're handling it too much like a business. They're too in control. I can't hide from that type of scrutiny. So I'm going to take a step back. Meanwhile, a healthy person would say, this is so understandable that you have standards, that you have boundaries. Of course, you just got out of a relationship. And yeah, I'd be happy to answer some questions. And sure, I'd be happy to wait. You understand, a healthy person will be able to get through that filter. The unhealthy people are going to have trouble getting through your filter. So you need to revise your standards and you need to lead with your standards, okay? It's not, I got out of a relationship, I'm heartbroken, now I need to hide. That doesn't work. You're hiding from predators. So what does a predator do? They stalk prey. It doesn't work to hide. Stop with the hiding. Get the standards. Standards are going to help you to become vigilant, skilled properly as to if a person is really right for you. So if you find yourself feeling heartbroken, now that you've got your standards revised, how can we deal with this emotion, these feelings of still wanting someone that's not right for us or that doesn't want us? How can we get over wanting someone that's not right for us or that doesn't want us? Well, the first thing we need to do is stop numbing the pain. It's okay to have a little bit of diversion, going out with your friends, watching television, reading a good book. That's okay. A little bit of diversion is acceptable. But if we just numb the pain, we are not healing from the broken heart. Alcohol, drugs, right? Or sleeping around. People have different ways of numbing pain, right? Shopping, addiction, all of these things. These don't help you to be able to get over the broken heart, get over the trauma bond, get over the limerence you had for the person. Limerence, by the way, is a word that is used to describe having a crush on a person. It really just means that you love the person without totally knowing the person. Think about your situation, especially if it was a newer relationship within a year, and then you started to learn about the person. And sometimes you really only start to learn about their flaws in the breakup. So, was that real love? Well, you felt for the person. The feelings are just like love because you're getting dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. But it's not considered true love because you can't truly love a person if you don't know their flaws. Does that make sense? When we talk about that deep romantic bond, that two people together bond, you can't truly love the person if you don't even know what their flaws are yet, because then you don't know the whole person. If you don't know the whole person, you're not loving the person. You're loving an idea of the person. That's what you fell in love with, and that is limerence. You fell in love with your image of the person, with what you thought they were. And some of these people will put on a false face. Narcissists put on a false face because they're evil and they want to manipulate and use and abuse you. But even empaths, toxic empaths, will put on a false face, but it's not out of evil, it's out of fear because they're afraid of being abandoned by you, of being left by you, of you knowing who they really are and seeing their flaws. So they prevent you from being able to love them properly. So now all you have is the limerence. So how do we get out then of this limerence? We have to get out of the old beliefs that we had about the person. She's the best. He's the only one for me. There could never be anyone else that could be for me like him. He knew me so well. Whatever it is, those are all extreme thinkings that are incorrect about the individual. They were not the best. They're not the only one that could ever possibly be for you. Those are actually extreme ways of viewing the person that are idealizations of the person. we're failing to see them as they really are. They're not the best. They had good qualities that you valued. Let's bring it down to what it was. They had good qualities that I valued. You might even write down what those qualities are, and you'd be surprised at how shallow they are. For many men, when you write down the qualities that were so amazing about this person, you might notice that it was physical traits or a high degree of compliance in some type of way, openness to you. If you're a lady, you might have noticed that you just valued the strength that you thought you saw in the person. There was certain qualities to you that you felt were rare and that you needed in order to feel safe, protected, and complete. But once you write those qualities down on a piece of paper, ma'am, ask yourself, do I lack these qualities personally? Because it may be that I was looking for myself in him. In order to get over these feelings that we had for these people, we need to stop viewing ourselves as an incomplete half in need of our other half. We need to start viewing ourselves as a complete whole person. And you can't see yourself as complete and whole if you're lacking all the qualities that you want to have. And you thought that he was going to bring in and add in all these qualities to your life. You need those qualities. So then you can show up to the relationship as a complete and a whole person to the extent possible. And you can start being attracted now to people who are not broken and violating your boundaries, but instead we can be attracted to individuals that are going to be good for us because true love is beneficial, mutually beneficial. That's true love. That's the difference between limerence and true love. You can have a limerence or a crush on someone where you're idealizing them, but ask yourself, is this relationship mutually beneficial? Was I getting everything I bargained for out of the relationship, or was I getting neglected? Were my needs being neglected? Was I getting abused? Was I getting smeared? Was I being used? Was I getting the short end of the deal? And even if they were really amazing, but then now they all of a sudden disappeared, then I ask you, how does this feel? This moment right now? Because this is what it's like to have a relationship with an unhealed person like that. Can you deal with this? Being left, being ghosted, being abandoned? Do you like this feeling? Because if you do, then this is going to work out great because this is what they do. They are showing you. This is the moment of you seeing the flaws. You didn't see them before. You're seeing them now. So I ask you, how do you like it? We have to stop separating this thing that we're experiencing from who they are. The reason we stay stuck in the pain is in part because we dissociate the pain from the person. And we say that person was so amazing. And if I could be with them again, and if I could, and we're saying this pain is from not being with them. Snap out of it. They are the source of the pain. This pain wouldn't be possible if it weren't for them and their actions and their falling short and their abandonment and their neglect. Associate the pain you feel right now in this breakup while you're alone with that person because the person is the source of the pain, not being without the person. It's not the being without the person. It is the person because the person created the situation where you now have to be without the person. Does that make sense? They created, you were fine before. They created the situation where now you're not fine without them being next to you. So associate them with the pain so that you are no longer seeing them as the solution to your pain. They're not the solution, they're the cause. Write it down. They're not the solution to my pain. They're the cause. Write it down. Remind yourself how before You didn't have this pain. Now they caused this pain because if it were up to you, you guys would get along. But for some reason, they can't seem to make that work. They're not the solution to the pain. They're the cause. So ask yourself, how do I really feel right now? Do I like this? Do I want this to continue? If you want to change your beliefs, you need to examine the evidence. To change beliefs, we examine evidence. So just write a list of all of the evidence that supports the new beliefs about the person. They're not the best. They're just a person. They were okay. They had some good qualities. What's my evidence of that? Write it down. Make a list of the evidence. That's how you change your beliefs. They're not the only one for me. They're just one of the people that I thought could work out. So you're seeing them as real. Okay. And then, if appropriate, we can forgive them because all of the hanging on to the angst and the anger just gives them more emotional power in your brain. So it's better to remove the power they have in your brain by removing the emotional charge. So you remove their emotional charge by becoming indifferent to them. So you practice by visualizing the person and then associating them with the feeling of indifference. So you think of them and then you think, I don't care. I don't care. Bring them up in your brain. I don't care. You do this exercise every day. Bring them up into your brain, visualize them, and then go, they're not for me. I don't really like them. Right. And by creating that sense of indifference, your subconscious mind slowly starts to recategorize the person and demote them in your mind because right now it's saying, this person is a part of you, but they're not. They're gone. If they were part of you, you could control them and they would be here. But now they're gone. They are a part of the infinite things in the universe that you cannot control. So therefore, we don't have any power. So therefore, we don't have any responsibility. There's no reason to keep thinking about them. So would no contact be appropriate? Yes. If you want to get over them, more contact just prolongs this kind of like unfulfilling, well, we're still friends, we're still talking because you're hoping that things are going to work out. You're hoping that things are going to get better in the end. But it's better to let go of the hope. In fact, it's key to getting over the pain. There's a close correlation between the hope and the pain because the hope is an energy investment. And so when that hope isn't fulfilled, it gives you emotional pain. It drops cortisol into your system. So you're sitting there just sick. They didn't call me. They didn't text me. They're not thinking about me. Where are they? Oh, they're out with another person. You're on their social media, right? Okay. So instead of all the hope and all the contact, we're going to go no hope, no contact. No hope for them, no contact. No hope, no contact. It's a choice. When we remove the hope and we say, I don't have any hope for this relationship. I don't have any hope that's going to work out with this person, then the pain is gone. Because if you see them with someone else and you really have no hope, it's just going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was over them because I don't have any hope. You see, that's how we get over the person. We let go of the hope. When we're no contact, that means that we don't accept calls or text messages from them. Sometimes we have to block if they're abusive, block. And it also means that we're not checking their social media, their websites, whatever it is they're posting, their Snapchat. Stop. What are you checking on them for? You're, all you're doing is reinforcing to your subconscious mind, which is just a computer system. This person's important. They're a part of me. This person's important. They're a part of me. That's all you're doing by checking them constantly. So we're going to go no hope, no contact. We're not going to use too much distraction. A little bit is okay, but we're not going to use too much, like going into drugs and all. No, not a lot of distraction. Excuse me. One of the fastest ways to get over a breakup is to pour all that love into another person. Have you ever done that? You get over one person by jumping into another relationship. That's the problem, is it's not the safest and healthiest way, because if we're just rebounding, then our guard is down and our standards are low. We're not leading with the standards. We're not leading with the standards. So it's not healthy, but it does help you get over the person quickly. And that's what you're here for the talk, right? You wanted to know how do you get over them quickly. Well, you get over one by getting into another relationship. But of course, I wouldn't advise that. So why don't we take the same principle and pour that love into someone that's guaranteed to be safe? Can you think of anyone in the universe that's guaranteed to be safe? Who's guaranteed to be a safe person for you to pour your love into? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ourselves, the self, yourself and Jesus, God. Good, you got them. You guys got them. They took you 2 seconds. That's how smart you are. You already knew who the safe people to pour your love into. So what you want to do is you want to decide to get into a relationship with your creator and with yourself. A relationship, not just a, I believe, a relationship. Are you going out on dates with you and God? Are you setting up picnics for you and God? Do you take yourself out to the movies? Do you cook for yourself? All the same things you would do with them, do that with yourself. You start it immediately. So tonight you go, what would I do if he were here? If that significant other, that scrumptious man were here right now, what would I do? Well, besides probably be arguing because they weren't actually a healthy partner, if things were going well tonight, I would probably cook them something and then we cuddle up and watch a movie. Cool. Do that with yourself. That's loving yourself. It's giving the same energy, the same actions to you. Does that make sense? Solitude is the best opportunity to deepen your spirituality. So absolutely connect with God and love the self. By the way, that's partly where you messed up and why it's so hard for you to get over this person, because you viewed them as the best part of yourself. That was a sin. Because isn't it Jesus that said you must love your neighbor as you love yourself, meaning you're loving yourself as much as you love your neighbor? It's the same. It's as. It's like we love them like we love ourselves. Ourselves. You're not supposed to love your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, even your child more than you love yourself. And that might not come natural. So wake yourself up, throw some cold water on. We're doing it wrong. We're supposed to love all people equally, and you're a people. You're one of the people that exists. Acknowledge yourself as a human. If you got to look in the mirror, that's why I'm slapping my cheeks. I want to feel myself. Holy smokes, I'm here. What am I doing? I'm a whole person. I'm supposed to be loving me too. And you start pouring that love into yourself, pouring that love into your creator. And what are you becoming? A richer, more complete person. You have to change your perception of yourself from I'm nothing without another person to I'm everything. And it would be fun to have someone to watch movies with on Friday. That's it. That's all your relation, what you want from a relationship should not be my completion. No, no, no. It's specific things that you actually want. So break down what you're actually looking for. I want someone to watch movies with on Friday and someone to make children with me. Whatever, be specific. What is it you want out of a relationship? Okay? It's a transaction. Don't make it more than what it really is. They're a fellow human, they deserve your respect. And if you make an exchange of love, then you're going to love them never more than you love yourself, always exactly the same at most. Does that make sense? And now it becomes easier if there does come a time for detachment, which here's a secret, there will be a time for detachment because everything is temporary. And that's why you're so scared to go into a relationship because you go, no, I can't take another heartbreak. Actually, this works the opposite. When you go into more relationships, you can take more heartbreak. It's not when you stay away from them. It's counterintuitive. It's actually when you go out and you have more relationships that you can handle more of the transitory nature of relationships. They're all temporary. If you can get one and it'll take you to death, that will be great, but it's still temporary. You're not taking anybody with you to the to the next life. So just Enjoy the temporary connections that you're having with people. Just enjoy while you have it. That's it. Don't worry about the abandonment. It's inevitable. Just enjoy it while you have it. We'll have to change the way we think about the other person as well. So make sure you remind yourself that that person does not meet your standards. Remind yourself that that person does not meet your standards anymore. Ask yourself, if they were the same gender as me, would they be a good friend? So if this person were just a platonic relationship, would they be a good friend based on their qualities? You might notice again, they don't meet your standards. And so that's why you can't be together because they don't meet your standards. It doesn't matter that they had all the good qualities or whatever that you liked about them. They don't meet your standards. On your list, make sure you write right at the top, one of the first qualifications for you to love someone is that they have to love you. They have to be loyal to you, or they have to treat you well, which is the same as loving you. That's true love, treating you well. Write that at the top of your standards. That's the first thing. So that way, when you look down at your list of standards, you'll be reminded, oh, they don't meet this standard because look, they're failing to love me. They're failing to be loyal to me. They don't treat me well. Very simple. Way of thinking should be, I am moving on. It's a decision. I am moving on. I am moving on. So I'm no contact. I'm no hope with that person. I am moving on. What am I pouring my love into? Myself, my God, my energy is going to go then, therefore, into my purpose. Because just like if I had a child, I'd be trying to move them along in life, like help them to get educated, help them to grow, learn skills, right? So that's what you're supposed to be doing for you. Same thing. It's supposed to be boosting your knowledge, your education, your training, your skills, moving towards a purpose, something you choose that's going to be beneficial for yourself and others. Finally, every day for a month or two, however long it takes, create a devaluation list. This is the opposite of idealization. Devaluation is where you help to devalue them in your subconscious mind. And we have to be a little harsh with this. This is not something we would normally do, but we need to write a list of their flaws, the ways that they don't live up, the things that they did that are just unacceptable. And you can be as petty as you want. So it can be like, I really hated that big toe. That's actually helpful. It's actually helpful for helping to break our attraction to them. I really hated the way one of their eyes sagged down. Just write it down. It's just for you. Don't worry. You're not going to roast them. You're not telling other people. You're not trying to hurt anyone. You're doing it for your mind to help your mind to recognize this person isn't a god to me. This person is a fellow human that doesn't meet my standards. All of these things will help you. Remember that your love is a choice. It's a decision. So you can decide to shut it off for a person using the steps that we talked about today.